Okay, wonderful. Thank you all for joining us today for the Earl Bakken Center for Spirituality and Healing Health Coaching Program information session. I'd like to take a moment and thank you for being here. And I also commend you for taking the next steps into investing in your future during this continued time of turmoil and uncertainty. This is definitely worth acknowledging and recognizing. And there are many different programs when you're considering health coaching opportunities. So I'm thankful that you're here today considering our program as one of your options. For those of you that may not be familiar, I am Christina Owen. I am the Student Services Specialist at the Bakken Center. And today I am joined by Dr. Crow, who is the Director of our Health Coaching Program. And for those of you that may not be familiar with the Bakken Center, it is our vision to advance the health and well-being of individuals, organizations, and communities through health and healing. We provide academic courses, both undergraduate and graduate. We have 2 graduate degree programs, community courses, webinars, and we even have online course offerings through Coursera. My role for today is to moderate the chat and facilitate the Q&A at the end of the session. Please feel free to use the chat to talk amongst yourselves. Let us know where you're joining us from today. I'm joining you all under 2 feet of snow in St. Paul, Minnesota today. Otherwise, if you can keep your questions and comments separate by using the chat and the Q&A feature, that also helps me and Dr. Crow make sure that we don't lose sight of your questions. And a few housekeeping items before we get started. While we will have time for Q&A at the end, feel free to add your questions at any time. If it's a question that I know Dr. Crow is going to address in the information session, I'll ask you to hold off. Otherwise, if it's additional questions that I can answer, I'll just go ahead and answer them as I can. If you're unable to find the chat or the Q&A features, I feel like we're all familiar with Zoom by now, but as a reminder, just move your mouse, hover your mouse over the bottom of your screen, and those options should appear. And now, without further ado, I'll turn things over to Dr. Crow.
Okay, thanks, Christina. My sound okay? Okay, just wanted to double check. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Dr. Cherie Crow. I am 7 months on the job at the University of Minnesota, but I am from Minnesota, so to be a gopher is just, oh, I don't know. It's one of those like lifelong things you never thought would happen. So it's super exciting. I have on their screen there for you, just in case you need to leave early. This is scheduled for an hour. We usually end a little bit early and have time for questions, but just in case, you can email any of your questions. That goes directly to Christina at csh-academics@umn.edu. Okay, so let's dive in. We're going to do a little bit of review of health coaching, just a tiny bit, just so we get a sense of like what it is and what we're talking about, so we're on the same page. And then we'll dive into the new curriculum. We're super excited to announce, or we have announced this past month, and then hopefully get all your questions answered as you consider either the certificate program or graduate school. So this quote, or the statement, I guess, on the screen you see here, this is something my psychology professor or teacher in high school said to me. I was really into my psychology class and interested in how people change. It was just kind of always a curiosity thing for me. And he once said to me, Cherie, think of how hard it is to change yourself, which I thought, yeah, it's pretty hard to change anything. And then he said, now try to go ahead and help change somebody else. And I thought, oh, that sounds impossible, but it shouldn't be. Why is this so hard? I had so many questions. So it really was him that intrigued me about behavior change, and it would kind of spun off from there. So never underestimate those powerful people in your lives, because here we are. All right, so what is a health coach? The National Board of Health and Wellness Coaching has a definition, a formal definition on their website. You can see here. I'll just read it real quick. Health and wellness coaches partner with clients looking to enhance their well-being through self-directed, lasting changes aligned with their values. In the course of their work, health and wellness coaches display unconditional, positive regard for their clients and a belief in their ability to change, honoring the fact that each client is an expert on their own life, while ensuring that all interactions are respectful and non-judgmental. Really great definition. I have no doubt it probably took 6 months to solidify these things, as committee work tends to do. But The definition I like to use is just a little bit shorter so I can memorize it easier. Health and wellness coaches co-create a space to practice making behavior and mindset changes in a non-judgmental environment. Now, what's particularly different about my definition compared to the board's is the board only references behavior change and not mindset changes. And I really want to draw that out. As health coaches, yes, behavior is really important. And, the steps to take to change your behavior are important. But that is only 50% of the picture. The other half of the picture is always mindset. And what I mean by that is perhaps your perceptions, your attitudes, beliefs. We can be talking about your inner voice. We can talking about limiting beliefs. It's the whole other half of the puzzle that I feel like really needs to be in the definition. So there you go. I create my own. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of as we move forward. Okay, so what do health coaches actually do on the day-to-day? We do work with clients either individually or in a group to help improve their health and wellness behaviors and mindsets. Got to add that in. We definitely co-create a partnership. It's a safe space. It's non-judgmental. And we have this thing our ethos, right? We have this thing we sort of live by. It's unconditional positive regard. And what that really means is no matter what you do, we are going to maintain the belief in you and maintain the positivity within any situation. We are your champion no matter what happens. We help facilitate goals. Obviously, goals are a big part of the process. Try to maintain that curiosity, keep the judgment out. That's how you do that, is just maintaining curiosity. We absolutely consider a person already whole and capable. Health coaches do not believe that the patient or client is broken in any way. You're not like fixing something, right? We're just diving down a little deeper, offering some guidance and helping you move forward. And then of course we always support, which makes sense, right? But we do challenge. We will, as working with you, perhaps call out, maybe you said one thing and then later on you said something different. Which is it? How does it align to your values? Things like that. So what do health coaches not do? It's like kind of easier to understand a health coach by what they don't do, because we're weird in what we don't do. So we don't give advice, almost never. And if we do, we'll ask your permission to even give the advice. We never decide what's best for you. We truly believe you know what's best for you. We are not the experts of you. You're the expert of you. We drive the process, we don't drive the process. We don't set goals for you. We don't judge your process. We don't judge whether you meet your goals. That's sort of irrelevant to the relationship. It's really about non-judgment in these situations. All right. That's what a health coach doesn't do. So if we're looking at health coaching areas of focus currently, I pulled these from our current alumni or past alumni. So there's probably things on this list I haven't included, but in general, coaches tend to work in chronic disease, stress management, nutrition and exercise, sleep, life transitions are kind of hot right now. Seniors and at senior living centers, general health and wellness, personal growth and development. New moms are a great group to work with, executives like executive coaching, and physicians. We know physician burnout is huge right now, along with other healthcare professions. So that would be the last group we see our alumni working with. All right, so where our graduates are currently working after surveying them is corporate wellness. I can't talk today, I'm so sorry. Education, conventional medicine, family practice, health insurance, of course, employee benefits, private practice, integrative health, our favorite, senior living, and fitness and wellness centers. And we did survey them. Again, their average starting salary, the University of Minnesota's program has been around a long time. So we do have a good chunk of data on this, and our alumni indicate 60 to 80,000 is a common starting salary for full-time for them. So keeping our eye on that as well. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the history of health coaching. I alluded to this earlier, and the program at the University of Minnesota. So back in 2010, it wasn't called this at the time, but the National Board of Health and Wellness Coaching was founded. And the University of Minnesota, our program, the director at the time was a founding member. So we consider our program a founding member of the board and of the leadership within the National Board of Health and Wellness Coaching. And so what has happened is the board has partnered with the American Medical Association, which is an incredible partnership considering where we're headed. So recently this partnership has taken to the next level, and next month, the NBHWC Healthcare Committee will be presenting to the American Medical Association. And the presentation is to lobby for health coaching to be reimbursed by insurance companies by getting us reimbursement codes. So currently these codes exist, but they're only for research purposes to develop the efficacy and the database for indicating that health coaching works, especially in primary care. And once you build enough evidence, you then go to the AMA and you present to them an effort to try to make reimbursement codes CPT-1. So that's when they become full in effect and Medicare starts to reimburse, and then eventually all the health insurance companies will follow. So that actually happens next month. And if the AMA agrees to move them to CPT-1 codes, there's this RUC process that happens, not important for today, but well, hopefully we will move to reimbursement codes being released in 2024. So perfect time to become a health coach. I actually can't think of a better time, because as soon as this first cohort in the fall graduates, yeah, they will hopefully have a ton of job opportunities. That's the hope. Christina, do you have a question? Or I saw you come on, so.
No question, just
Oh, okay.
celebrating
Okay.
what those
That's
changes
amazing.
can mean.
You're like,
Thank you.
yeah. So what this is going to all lead to, my point in explaining all of this is we would expect to see health coaches become a true partner in primary care in particular to start. I definitely think it could move into specialties, but just speaking of primary care, health coaches will become a part of that healthcare team, a really essential and crucial member, I would argue. And what that means is we are going to need leaders in health coaching to run these teams, to run these departments, to lobby for more opportunities for health coaches within healthcare and be on those healthcare leadership teams. So that's what our master's program is really designed for, is creating that next group of leaders that are going to innovate and infuse health coaching within healthcare. Digital health coaching is huge right now. It's definitely part of the future. I'm sure you've heard of all the apps and all the companies that are hiring health coaches now. One comes to mind as Noom, Calibrate, Spring Health. I mean, they're all hiring health coaches, and those are all digital health coaching companies. And then artificial intelligence, it's scary because we're in such a face-to-face, or not face-to-face necessarily, but a person-based relationship. So the AI is kind of a turnoff, but I think there's a way to incorporate it where we can support our clients in between sessions with some pretty cool AI stuff. So that is definitely going to be the future as well. Okay, so I've been kind of experimenting with this a little bit, but in the program we have a philosophy, and it starts with the personal. And what we mean by that is when you come through our program, one thing we really like to focus on is personal transformation and the coaching spirit. So that doesn't mean to be a coach, you have to have gone through trauma or anything like that. What we're saying is that personally growing and developing and changing your own behavior is crucial to becoming an advocate and helping others do the same. And the coaching spirit really means embracing mindfulness, embracing unconditional positive regard and beliefs about other individuals, and being fully present for your client. And those are all skills that have to be developed, and we don't want to disregard the personal coach and what they bring to the table. So because of that, a lot of our program will focus on developing skills within emotional intelligence, very key for a health coach, and mindfulness is a huge focus. And then also our skills in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, major focus on this for us in this program. It is a recent shift we've had, but if you want to coach individuals, you need to understand the context in which they're coming from, the social and political influences of the day, and how that impacts their ability to change their behavior. So a lot more in-depth curriculum around developing competencies around anti-racism, for an example. So you'll see there in the iceberg model that it's kind of like everyone has this iceberg model for their whatever they're trying to explain. I'm sure you've seen this 100 times, but What you see at the top is behaviors, that's above the water, right? And this is generally when we think about health coaching, we think about above the water, the behaviors. But I just wanted to kind of emphasize that our program does not just stay there. It's important, but it's half the picture, right? So in our program, we really dive into the structures and the environment behind the behaviors. Again, remember, the biggest predictor of your health and mortality is your zip code. It's not behaviors. So we need to understand why that's the case, what it is about what I call the invisible hand of the environment. And then of course, the mindsets I talked about earlier is that other half of that picture. Okay, so our second P is the professional. So this is the other piece we really focus on in the curriculum, and that's because of what we just talked about. We know reimbursement is coming. If it doesn't happen next year, it'll happen the following year. And we are going to need some serious leadership skills to infuse healthcare with the essence, I call it the essence of health coaching. So we're really working on those leadership competencies within the program. Of course, we're always focused on integrative health. We're at the center of spirituality and healing, so that has to happen. And it's what we're best at. And then a little bit more focus with this new curriculum on evidence-based decision-making, because as a future leader in health coaching, using the evidence to inform how we do coaching, how we measure coaching, how we think about coaching is essential. So that evidence, understanding the evidence base is key. And the last P is the personal, the professional, and the performance. And I don't mean this in like a grading performance, gold medal, silver medal, but really how we emphasize the practice and the practical experience within the program. So the act of doing health coaching in and of itself is an immense skill that has to be practiced a whole heck of a lot. So we have 2 practicums in the curriculum and a full internship. You will leave the program at minimum at least 150 hours of coaching, which sets you up for immense success to come out of the program really having a good foundation of practice of coaching before you perhaps take that first health coaching job. And then we also try to weigh in a lot regarding, we've added a course on trauma-informed coaching. Trauma-informed mental health is huge right now. And we're really looking at how we can develop more partnerships with mental health and be aligned with understanding when trauma is involved and making those appropriate referrals within our scope of practice. And then what we're best at, or kind of what the University of Minnesota's program is known for, is group coaching. We've had group coaching since the start, and it is a course that involves actually a practical experience where you go out in the community and you run a group with a partner, but we have the practicing of the skill of group coaching as well, which little birdie told me is a huge emphasis coming out from the board pretty soon. So we are well in a line, which is great. Okay, well, let's dive into the curriculum here. It is a 30 credit program and it's a 2-year degree. And the 2 years, when I say 2 years, I mean a fall, spring, a summer, and then a fall, spring. So there is the summer in the middle of the 2 years. Okay, so fall, you have fundamentals of health coaching. So that just gets us warmed up, introduced to this idea of health coaching, what it is. And mainly this course will focus on motivational interviewing, just learning the basic skills there. Then you will take health behavior change theory and lifestyle medicine with me. Health coaches are behavior change experts. And if we are, we really need to understand the theory. So this is one of my favorite classes is health behavior change theory. I know, theory, roll your eyes. It can be fun, I swear. And then, of course, we'll round out that semester with the practicum experience I was talking about. And this is where you'll coach your peers just to start getting used to the idea of individual coaching. All right, and then in spring, we offer fundamentals of health coaching 2. So this is where we take it from 2 credits to 4 credits, and we're really amping up the skills and learning other ways to coach besides just motivational interviewing and other components of the coaching relationship. And then we move into diversity, equity, and inclusion and health and well-being. This course is really about the structures I was talking about, behaviors, mindsets, but there's structures, policies, initiatives, all sorts of environments that limit our health behaviors or change our health behaviors, and structures that inform how individuals perhaps are raised, how education is funded. All of that matters when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion in health and well-being. So we'll focus on that along with social determinants of health. And of course, the overarching umbrella over this whole course is health equity. Hands down, that is the whole purpose of this course. And then we move into health coaching practicum 2. This is where you coach actual clients. So you dive right in and we help you find these clients. You don't have to get them yourself, and start coaching one-on-one. It's super exciting. So in the summer, we try to ease up a little bit. It is summer, so you will take Introduction to Integrative Therapies and Healing Practices. This is our core course at the center because what we do is integrative health and healing. Fantastic course, and then you can completely focus on that in the summer. And then year 2, first semester is 7 credits. We have health and wellness coaching for groups, I've already talked about. And then we move into our new course, Mind, Body, Science, and Trauma-Informed Mental Health. Again, really making sure we understand our scope of practice and how mind, body, science can inform a lot of the work we do with clients and better their lives, right, with these strategies of mind, body, science. And then lastly, we have our leadership course, leadership and evidence-based decision-making. And then when we move into the spring, you have that culminating experience, which is the internship. Minimum, it's 100 hours of coaching. And then principles of management and health services organizations, again, focusing on those leadership competencies. And then you get the choice of one elective. At the center, we have so many cool electives to take. It's actually, it'll be hard to just choose one, but it can be anything from nature-based therapies to acupuncture to yoga. You can become a certified yoga teacher while you're here as well, which is super cool. Okay, so that's the master's program. Now let's talk health coaching certificate track. So the master's program, you don't need a health background to apply and get in. The health coaching certificate is a little bit different. It's designed for people that are already healthcare professionals or are coming from a health background. So it is 1 year, 2 semesters, a fall and a spring, and 14 credits. And what individuals in this track will take is Fundamentals of Health Coaching 1, just like with the master's program, Introduction to Integrative Therapies and Healing Practices, and then the Health Coach Practicum. And then spring semester, you'll of course take Fundamentals 2. This is really where all the competencies are that allows you to sit for the nationally board certified health and wellness coach exam. The diversity course, of course, really emphasizing health equity. And then the last practicum will get the hours you need, the coaching hours you need to sit for the exam as well. So you have to go through an accredited program and you have to have a certain number of coaching hours in order to sit to become a nationally board certified health and wellness coach. Not easy. Okay, so the master's program, we have some program outcomes. I'll just kind of high level highlight these, but basically we want to make sure that you walk away from this program knowledgeable about behavior change techniques, knowledgeable about how to evaluate the evidence, knowledgeable about how to coach individuals and groups and how mind-body science is key in the work of health coaching. We really want you to understand your own personal biases, a lot of unconscious bias, anti-racism competencies, health equity, and of course, social determinants of health. Like I said, your zip code is your biggest predictor of your mortality. And then learning how to collaborate with colleagues and really become a member of a team, and how do you interact and work with a team as health coaching. That's really where the discipline is headed. So we want to stay on top of that. So that interdisciplinary teamwork is key. And then the personal, we need to develop your own personal growth and development plan that will include, of course, mindfulness, coaching spirit, and really harnessing the non-judgment skill that we all need as health coaches. And lastly, again, the understanding what best practices are so that if you become a leader in health coaching, you can really base your decision-making on the evidence and what we know to be true as of today. And it always changes. Okay. The certificate program outcomes are generally the same, except we in the certificate don't have the leadership piece and the coursework on evaluating evidence and learning about research methodology and statistics. So it's a little bit more focused on just the active health coaching because it's designed for healthcare professionals or those with a health background already working. And so really we're just focused on the personal transformation and learning the skill of health coaching that can be incorporated into what you're already doing. So a little bit less of the leadership. Okay, time commitment. This is probably the itching burning question we get most frequently. So the University of Minnesota has a standard, and the standard is 1 credit equals 3 hours outside of the classroom time. So that means for a 3 credit course, you're looking at 9 to 10 hours per week. That's generally what you can expect to see. As professors, we do abide by this. It's really important we hold to our university-wide accepted standard. And then in the first year of the program, if we're talking about the master's, we do have an on-site weekend requirement in the first year, one in fall and one in spring. So that means you do have to travel if you're outside the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, travel to campus and be with us for a weekend in the fall and a weekend in the spring. So it's just 2 times total in the entire program. And those weekends are also required for the certificate track. Okay, so as you're thinking about which grad program do I choose? Do I want to do this? What should I be looking for? I thought I'd just offer a few suggestions, and this isn't just catered towards our program, just in general, when you're looking for grad schools, I would encourage you to kind of look at a few things. One is, what type of university is it? So the University of Minnesota is what we call a Research One university, and what that means is at the university, there's an emphasis on developing new knowledge, right? And you'll often see master's and PhD programs. And so what the benefit of that is, it really exposes you to cutting edge research that's happening right now. For example, the center just finished a study on health coaching and chronic back pain. So you're kind of on the cusp and get to meet the researchers that do this work every day and the networking and connections that come with that. You also want to be looking at who the faculty are, their backgrounds, and do you get a sense that you can be mentored by them? Mentorship is I can't even emphasize this more than I am right now. Mentorship is the key to graduate school. You definitely need those connections, and you want those connections to personally grow and develop. So doing some background work on the faculty is key. I'd also look at the campus resources and opportunities for involvement, especially if you're an online student. Some universities do this really well and some not so much. They kind of don't focus on their online students as much. So really look at what's available to you as an online student. Hopefully all the services, whether you're on campus or online, are equally treated. And then also you might consider looking at what we call at the University of Minnesota and in our system, banded tuition, minors, and electives. So within our system, so full-time for a grad student is 6 credits. And then after you've you're registered and taking 6 credits, you can take additional credits at no cost up to 14. So this is a really huge benefit because a lot of people will get minors or certifications and not pay extra for those courses. So banded tuition is something to definitely consider as you're choosing programs. So I just listed there a few of the minors or certificates that are available that you could add on that wouldn't be additional cost. And then specifically for us, we really value international work, international collaboration. So we do have study abroad opportunities. We have a yoga certification where you can join a class that goes to India and live in an ashram, and lots of diversity in our course offerings, which I think is super important for any sort of way you want to take your career. So I'll leave it at that. Choosing grad school, it's not the easiest decision of your life, but we're here to help.
But it is also an important decision.
Yeah,
Thanks, Dr.
absolutely.
Crow. So I'm here to talk about the details about the application process. Our final deadline is March 15th, 2023, and that is for fall 2023 admission, which starts in September. Excuse me. If you're interested in the master's program, we have prerequisites in human physiology and general psychology. Courses need to be completed with a B minus or better, and they must be completed by the start of the program. So making sure that the course is completed with that B minus or better before starting the program in September. New this year is we do not have an application fee for anyone applying for fall of 2023. So you can, yeah, I was going to say, you can thank Dr. Crow for that. So that's great. If you have questions about that, we have detailed instructions on our website. I'll provide a link here shortly on what to do to get that taken care of. In order to complete the online application for graduate school, there are 3 letters of recommendation, which we recommend professional references. So for those of you that maybe have been out of school for a while, someone that you work with, supervisor, a peer, a coworker, anyone who can speak to the skills that you have and why you would be a good candidate for this program. Those are great letters of recommendation. For those that might still be connected with any academic professionals, those are great letters of recommendation. A previous advisor, a faculty maybe you've conducted research with, again, anyone who can speak to your qualifications for this program. We will also ask for all copies of your college transcripts. At the time that you apply for the application, unofficial copies are fine. Official copies will only be required by the graduate school as they conduct their audit process if you accept admission. And our program does not require any test scores, so the GRE is not required. A few additional parts of the application process is we do ask for a personal statement. It's about 2 to 4 pages in length. And within that personal statement, we ask you to address these 3 topics here. Any hopes and expectations you have for the health coaching program, and why is understanding and appreciation of equity, inclusion, and diversity and belonging important to health coaching? And lastly, how might you contribute to making society a more inclusive and equitable place? Again, those questions are included on our website to help you make sure that you're going through the steps accurately. And the last part of our application process is we do have an interview process. So after we review your application, make sure that all the requirements are met, you will be notified via email if you are or are not accepted for an interview. Secondly, Dr. Crow briefly mentioned this where she was talking about the banded tuition. Again, you will pay the same for 2022 and 2023. The estimated tuition rate is just over $9,000 for the semester, and that's anywhere from 6 credits to 14 credits. Keep in mind that these total program costs are based on full-time registration, so 6 credits and above. And if you're looking at possibly at taking a semester to do part-time credits, that's an option that we can talk about once you're in the program. This also does not include any fees or textbooks. And additional information about finances, tuition, and fees can be found at the links below. And lastly, I always want to end with this great video. Shannon is an alum of our program. I believe she graduated in 2019 from our Master of Arts degree. So as I'm queuing this up, I want to make sure my sound has been sharing, and I will click this video here just a moment.
So prior to becoming a health and wellness coach, I really viewed the world as sometimes as things that needed to be fixed. And so I carried some perfectionist type of qualities into my relationships, into my way of seeing things, and my way of being in the world. I came to learn that that is a quality of mine that can be considered a strength, but also very much a deficit. And so just by becoming aware, I think that was the biggest change, is that self-awareness that this program has brought out in myself. So what I think is really intriguing about the field of health coaching is that it offers a different perspective and a different way of helping people throughout their journey. So there's so many benefits of seeing perhaps a mental health counselor, or perhaps a nurse coach, or a professional business coach. Health coaching takes a different approach in the sense that we're partnering with clients as they uncover a holistic perspective of their own personal well-being. And we stand beside them as an ally or partner as they start their journey of really digging deeper. Health coaching can help people as they are on this journey to really reset, look at their priorities, look at their values, look at meaning and purpose, and to kind of uncover those things that maybe they haven't really looked at for a while. So I think this is coming at a really critical time in our world where people are looking for that one-on-one connection, because I think that's something that's been lost. If we can change the conversation that doctors are having with themselves, it can change the conversation they're having with their patients. And that's the beginning of evolution and transformation across the healthcare system. I'm Shannon Yoakum, and I just received my master's degree in integrative health and wellbeing coaching.